Hello, welcome everyone. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Gloria Bailey Ray Show. As always, we have a fantastic show, fantastic guests, and I am always so honored and humble to have people to come onto the show to provide you with information that is relevant, fact-based, mainstream, and that is really and truly what the Gloria Bailey Ray Show is about. So I'm your host, Gloria Bailey Ray, and for all of you that are out there, I want you guys to know that the Gloria Bailey Ray Show is streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. Listen, our show is interactive. And what does that mean? If you have questions or comments, you can place it in the comment section and we'll do our very best to respond to them. Look, I always like to give a quick shout out to all of my viewers and those sponsors, both nationally and internationally. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. You have no idea how much I appreciate all that you do. And I don't take it for granted, not even for a second. As I started out, I just said we got a great show for you. But I just want to remind all of you guys, if you haven't got your autographed copy of You Didn't Get the Memo book, go to my website, gloriabaileyray.com, order the book, order the ebook. It's there, download it. Want to also remind you that coming up on October 14th, I am running a workshop called Self-Confidence. We're going to be talking about the power of self-confidence. And I really and truly hope that you will go to gloriabaileyray.com and sign up for this workshop. You will be so glad that you did. As I said at the outset, got a great show. Great guest. So let me introduce to you our guest for today, who is Miss Lorena Belcher. Lorena, I can't say enough. I mean, sister, welcome, welcome, welcome to the show.
Hello. Hey.
Thank you for being here. So, I always like to level set with my viewers and talk about, who you are. And that's why I asked, what's your backstory? So, Sister Lorena, why don't you tell us a little bit about your backstory? Because, all I can say is, ooh, you got it.
Okay. Well,
You got
hello, everyone. Gloria, thank you for having me, first of all.
it.
So, you know what? I can't believe it, guys, that I taught over 975 students from K through 8 over the last 25 years. I'm
Mm,
still blown away that I published 2 books. I wrote 2 books.
yeah.
Unbelievably, still, I'm in awe that I was an associate marriage and family therapist, and I focus on women and children and men dealing with trauma,
Mm,
guys. And but what you really didn't know is that I was so accustomed to violence, so accustomed to drama and trauma as a child that, from my family of origin to extended family, culturally, we just talk loud. However, there's some times when the conversation's a little bit way too loud. Let me give you an example. There was a time when my dad and my mom, I heard them arguing, and I was like, okay, but I heard the run into the back door, and the door slammed. And then I get up, I'm the youngest of 3, and I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And my dad says, don't let her in. And in my head, I'm like, how can I let her stay outside all night? That's crazy. That's not making any sense. And so I hear my mom tapping on the window. Lo, let me in. So what am I going to do? I'm not feeling like my voice is heard in this house anyway. I feel invisible in this house anyway. But I said, I'm going to let her in. Today, I'm going to have to just be strong and let her in. I let her in. My dad just looked at me. He didn't say a word, guys. And we never heard of it again. So yeah, my parents finally divorced. I ended up, my hair falling out at 13. This is stylish now, but at 12 or 13, let's say 50 years ago, that was not stylish. That was just not accepted by anyone as any semblance of beauty. So, I dealt with esteem issues, deserve levels, self-trust, self-love, all of that. which led into, unfortunately, I was sexually assaulted at age 17 by my aunt's best friend's son. So that led to relationships that didn't work out. Yeah, I went to college, guys, but I took the 7-year route because I was a hot mess. Didn't get me help. But I ended up in a intimate partner violence situation. And so I left my husband several times. But yet my daughter, one time she said, Mommy, are we going to a hotel again? I said, no, we're not going to a hotel ever again unless we're going on a trip. And that's when I realized my voice matters. I matter. I deserve better, and doggone well, these girls deserve better. And that was my road, everybody, to get to resilience coaching,
Yeah.
transformational coaching, and offering women a voice to know that they matter. Your
Yeah.
impact is great.
Yeah. Wow. And I know there are a lot of people. First of all, let me just say I applaud you for being able to share that part of your story. And we all have a story, right?
Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
and the thing is, what I think a lot of people don't realize is they don't heal when they don't talk about what has happened to them. And if you're like me, growing up in the South, you didn't talk about everything, stayed in house, you pack it down, you keep your mouth shut, and that's that. And now we are realizing that a lot of the sexual assaults have come from family members, uncles, brothers, cousins, mothers, boyfriends. And it's all of those things. And so, what struck me as being very, I felt not only interesting, but would be healing for some people is to have you come on and to talk about what it is that you do. And you just led into why you do resilience and transformational coaching. And
Mhm.
there are a lot of coaches out there. For me, I'm a life coach. For others, they are, they could be a spiritual coach or it all of that.
Exactly.
But let me
Exactly.
tell you, all of that means nothing if you aren't willing to face what has happened to you, to get some help, to recognize, because you know what happens? It manifests itself in other ways. Whether you're sabotaging a relationship or friendship, whether you have a problem on the job because the boss reminds you. And when you haven't settled that, that is a big issue. And that's what we're seeing, in my opinion, that's happening, around when I hear people say the mental health piece. People haven't been able to talk. They have had to pack all of this inside. And it's for whatever reason, it's bubbling to the surface now.
Yes.
So, one again, I just thank you for even opening up and sharing that part of your life. And notwithstanding just the resilience part of a mother with two daughters, that you are also dealing with health challenges as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, how do you do it? You know?
Ooh, one day at a time, lots of meditation, lots of prayer.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I have this thing, I'm not going out like that.
All right. All
I'm
right.
just not. I have a constitution that just says, I'm better than this. I
Yes.
deserve a full life.
Yes.
We're constantly fighting cultural, norms and things that says that maybe people like that look like me can only do this or can only do
Hmm.
that. And I say that's not true.
Hmm.
But until we believe,
Yeah.
whether it's the Bible or whatever it is that you believe, but you got to believe it's for you.
Right. 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 So
Not it
let's
sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we tell the viewers, Lorena, what neurotransformational coaching is?
All
That's the
right,
first thing. So let's just start with
let's
that.
unpack it. Let's
Okay, I
unpack
see
it.
you say. Let me get into it. So
Let's
let's
unpack
talk
it.
about that.
It's a big fancy word, y'all, for the brain, the body, your spinal cord, all of your body. The neural means your body. So your body is taking a hit with any and everything, all of your experiences, how you behave. It's based on all of these things, let's say under an iceberg. The top of the iceberg is beautiful. It's just lovely. It's what we say, and it's how we look. But Lord knows, do we know what's under that iceberg? All of that's what's under it. So neurotransformational coaching, or it's a bunch of methodologies of psychology that are basically looking at your drivers, your memories, your values, your experiences, your addictions, your self-talk, all of those things. What you say to yourself, how do you perceive yourself? What is your image, self-image? What is your level of esteem? And I want to talk about that a little bit later, though, Glory, about that self-esteem piece. Because when we're born, we are born with everything that we really need. It's just we have to unpack those layers.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
neural transformational coaching goes deeper. And like you said about coaching earlier, it's a lot of surface coaching. In my
Right,
opinion,
right.
it's surface. No, I want to lose weight. Oh, I want to get this job. Oh, I want to do this. I want to,
Mhm.
I want to do all these wonderful things. But you haven't the first clue of, how do I feel about myself? What
Right,
is
right.
what triggers what's how do I feel when certain things are said? I don't know where to begin. And what kind of person am I? What's my personality? Do I really
Mm,
know myself or
mm.
connect to myself? How do I see myself? Because the lens in which I see myself, well, that's how I see you, Gloria. So if I
Right.
don't feel good about me and see value in myself, I'm very critical and judgmental of others.
Right, right. And I think that goes without saying, for most people, they may not admit it, but that really and truly is the reality of it. So you, like you said, you're not about dealing with scratching the surface.
Mhm.
You're really talking about, look, let me get down in the muck and mire and deal with this. And why it is because you know the value of that's happening. I just have to tell you, some of our viewers, I just have to show this one of the things.
Okay.
Uh, when you were talking, we heard, and this is true. People say, "What goes on in this house stays in this house,"
That's
right?
right, Carolyn, but
Oh,
that
yeah,
doesn't work. That's
yeah,
the death of us. We
okay,
gotta end that generational trauma.
yeah. And then, like she says, a lot of people's home life it was poorly architected, and
Yeah,
I was like, I love that. And then, of course, we have Miss Wonder joining us, and she says so many people see themselves through other people's eyes, and that
exactly.
is so. Oh my gosh! Not only is it so true, but even for me, when I look at the weight loss, and I'm looking at, women who, the big thing that drives me nuts is I must just get hit a billion times with honey love. And I'm like, you can put on all the honey love and be sucked and tucked all you want, but
Mhm.
there's something deeper than that, right? So, but a lot of people see themselves and said, oh, yeah, I'll like myself even more if I put this on and I'm sucked and tucked. But what happens when you pull off the layers, right?
Exactly.
So, your passion was driven in this field. From what I've gleaned so much right now, it has to do with how you were raised,
Mhm.
the environment that you were raised in, not understanding as a kid, but as they say, when we're a child, the Bible tells us you think it's a child, but when you become a man or a woman, right, you have a different perspective and you
Yes.
understand that.
Yes.
So knowing that you have a passion for doing this, you know, your background in education and psychology, I just have to say, you really feel like that it prepared you for your role as a transformational coach in these fields.
Absolutely, Gloria. I
Mhm,
feel so fortunate that I had the experiences of working with people in real life situations,
mm,
whether
mm,
it's children or adults, educating teens, educating young adults. I facilitated youth groups that were multi ages. So I coached them into, what's your value? You,
mhm,
I
mhm.
got a mirror right here, Gloria. That's my grandmother's mirror. I keep that because I wonder, what does she see? And
Yeah,
then now it's my turn to, what do I see?
right, right.
Yeah.
Critical. And there, even in sales, they used to teach us when you're on the phone talking to someone to have a mirror in front of you. So you're looking at yourself and you will know whether or not you're smiling or you're frowning because that comes through even in your tone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is important. What do you see? And if you're not saying to yourself, I love me,
Mhm.
Yeah, I may have some extra pounds, I may have some bumps and bulges, whatever. But if you can't really say that I love me, I love the person that's looking back at me,
Yes.
then that should be a real clue. You know what? I need to talk to
Mhm.
this transformational coach. I need to say, what is it that makes me not feel like that? Because
Mhm.
everybody always compares themselves to other people.
Yes. Yes.
She's skinny. Well, that's her DNA.
And that
I
doesn't
mean,
mean she's happy. That doesn't mean she loves herself. That's just the way she's built. That doesn't give her
absolutely.
value more or less value.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Well, we know that transformation, it often involves resilience and setbacks. So how do you handle the resistance that, comes up during the coaching process? And how do you help your students or clients to
Mhm.
actually overcome this resistance? Because look, they coming to you and
Okay.
you've got the experience, but then they gonna tell you, I don't think that's gonna work. So how do
Right.
you deal with that?
Exactly. The transparency is at best. It is just at the most that is vital. Of building a rapport with the people that let them know that I'm not much better than you. I mean, I'm a little further ahead, but I don't mean as far as value. You are just as valuable. It really is important that the way I interact with my clients, I tell them I'm the guide on the side, rather. I'm just on the side supporting you because the person with the problem has the answers. If you have the challenge, you have the answer within you. And so I go with that. As
Mhm.
opposed to when I was a therapist, there was more psychoeducation, which I do not poo poo that at all. I don't put that down. I just know that beyond psychoeducation, what are they going to pick up?
Exactly.
I can tell you, but that's not the same value as, oh, I figured it out on my
Mhm.
own. That's what builds confidence. That's
Right.
what
Yeah.
builds your esteem and ability to
Mhm.
move forward when you figured out, oh, so that's what she meant. She didn't tell me, she just let me, yep. And it's
The aha
it may
moment.
be faster for others, Gloria, and it may be slower. There are different, styles of questioning, but mostly of the time I'm questioning you. I'm just sitting back listening and observing. Yes,
Mhm.
I'm taking mental notes, but I'm listening and watching you. But I want you to feel comfortable in speaking your honest
Right.
value
Right.
of yourself.
Absolutely. Um, Lorena, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. I want to thank you guys. I see your comments. You guys are like, they like tearing it up in the comment section over here.
Oh,
So
I wish yeah. You got to tell me
I'll
some of these
share
comments.
some of those as well. So first of all, I want to let you guys know that my guest Lorena Belcher is also streaming live on her Facebook page, and we want to thank you guys all for being here. So be sure and just hang tight. We're going to pay the bills, and we'll be right back.
Thanks,
Be
guys.
right back.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Okay, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging in here. We just had to take a little quick break. We
Yeah.
are live, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, as well as LinkedIn with my awesome guest, Miss Lorena Belcher, who is a resilience and transformational coach. And I really and truly hope that you guys are really getting, something from this particular interview because we have so much going on in our lives. There's so much that's happening. There's so much that has happened to so many people that you packed down for years. And y'all, it's time to just let it go. Live a life of freedom. And I'm not talking about when I'm speaking of freedom, I'm speaking of being free from all these thoughts and things that have been ruminating in your mind that has held you down, that has affected you. And it's when you and only you decide, I know there's something better for me, that those things will change. So just hang in here with us, you guys. I said before we went to break, I wanted to share some of, the thoughts, and I just love it. This Miss Carolyn is on it. She talks about being trained, programmed, and conditioned to emotionalize trauma instead of rationalizing it. And I thought, oh,
Mm,
that's deep. You
that
know,
is
that
powerful.
is, yeah. So when when we think about that and we think about what's going on, we, all of us, I mean, for lack of the Cosby Show, it painted this picture,
Sure.
right? But when we really look at it, the reality of it, that's all well and good. But what was really going on behind those closed doors is so much that people just hadn't talked about.
Sure.
So, my guest, Miss Lorena Belcher, here she is, and she's talking about helping you guys to unpack all of your baggage. Some of y'all have trunk loads of baggage.
Absolutely, Gloria. Absolutely.
And you know what? And guess what? For every time something happens, guess what? They open up another trunk. And so this is what I've gotten from talking to you and listening to what you are saying. I see we have one other comment. Oh, emotional rising trauma instead of rational. It's wow, that's profound. I think he just had a watershed
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Miss Carolyn, you gave him a watershed moment. So, Miss Lorena, let's jump back in though.
Okay.
Let's talk about, I'd ask you, how do you help your clients or students overcome, when they are resistant
Okay.
to what it is that you're saying. So kind of walk us through what your approach is to transformational coaching in that context of education and
Okay.
psychology.
So when, and particularly when a client comes, we start with wherever you are. We're not necessarily dealing with a chronological situation of, oh, when I was 4, this happened. When I was 6, this happened. I don't need to know all of that. First of all, we need to build a rapport where there is trust that I have your best interests at heart and I don't have all the answers. I'm not high and mighty and know it all. I'm here to support you in unpacking it. And as you said, the goal is to not carry a 5-piece luggage set with us every day of our lives while we're walking around, while we're going to work, while we're entering relationships, while we have children. All of those things, we are disconnected with all that luggage. I say all we can carry is a backpack, and we need to purge that puppy every 3 months.
Mm.
Now, it's just vital. It's vital that the client realizes we're not in a rush. This is your pace. This is your journey. That I don't have a magic wand to wave when, whether you go to therapy, whether you go to a clergy for counseling, whether you go anywhere for counseling or a coach. A coach is very different because I'm not so bound by the law of how many sessions you can have. This is
Right,
your choice and your commitment. So it's a little bit different. So you're coming because you're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
right,
You
right,
want
right.
change. So if you are resistant, I'll just remind you, what did you say you kind of wanted? because I'm going to ask you, what do you want out of the 10 sessions, the 12 sessions? What is it that you're looking for?
Right.
And when you
And I
show
always,
me, you back up, I say, it's okay. But I just wanted to remind you, I just wanted to remind you that you told me you wanted to clear that. Do you still
right.
want to clear it?
Right, right. And I was just going to say it's about them doing the work.
Yes,
It's kind of like I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink. So
absolutely.
you've got to be able and be willing to do the work. So they made that first step coming to you. The second
Mhm.
step is saying, okay, I want to sign up for 12 sessions. And of course, I love the fact, like you said, 12 sessions, it may need to be 24, but it comes down to them. Right. And
Exactly.
that right there is the key, because I think a lot of people think when they think about coming to someone for coaching, and in your case especially resilience and transformational coaching, oh, I got to be locked into da 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 da. And I tell my clients that for me, that's not how it works,
Hmm.
right? And so I'm really happy to hear you say that. And not only that, when we talk about transformational coaching, is there a way for you to just really just kind of do a black and white
Okay.
differentiation from traditional coaching as opposed to what it is that you do?
Okay. So for traditional coaching, I was in a certification program, which was really good. It was personal coaching and executive coaching. However, in order for someone to bounce back from a job, you're going to have to dig a little bit deeper. It's not about just supporting them and getting them a new resume, providing them with interview skills. It gets a little deeper. Maybe we need to look at the patterns of this. Is this the first time you've been removed from a job or you lost a job? What is your pattern of behavior? What's your pattern in the workforce? Um, Now, with transformational coaching, I want to know what you think about yourself more so in this. I'm listening to the words you use. Are you looking outside of yourself as it's other people's responsibility, other people's fault, if you will? Um, how are you taking ownership of what you want? And I invite my clients to look at, how was this same situation, or maybe not the same, but how are these circumstances possibly showing up in other areas of your life? And with traditional coaching or therapy, there might even be a diagnosis. With therapy, with coaching, I don't give a diagnosis, but because I have that background, I can let a client know that perhaps you need something a little more than what I offer. I'm able to determine if someone is suicidal, what to do about those things. However, I let them choose. And so for transformational coaching, we're not talking about a 5-minute aha or a little minute of a breakthrough. We're talking about what has been embedded in to your cellular level that you used to do 3 months ago that you no longer do. Oh, I get up. Oh, I have a routine that works. I found a way to ground myself in the morning. Literally, maybe it's outside. Maybe I have found a routine that works just for me, that I don't have to follow what other people are doing, all on social media or anything else. But you
Hmm.
found
Hmm.
something that you no longer do. You don't even want to do what you used to do.
Right,
So
right.
that's where the transformation comes in. You're not that person, and you're willing to become someone new in order to have something you've never had.
Yes, yes. Oh wow. Ooh, okay, so let me give you some snaps on
I'm a snap girl too, so thanks, Gloria. I
okay,
appreciate
yeah, snaps. I have a lot of friends from the East Coast, and we just, we vibe differently.
it.
So that's the
Okay.
thing. But in that context, and not that you can give a concrete
Okay.
probably response to this because every person is different,
Okay.
but overall, in your opinion, you've been doing
Mhm.
this for some time. How long, for people who want to do the work, would you
Okay.
say that it takes them to see or experience a change in those patterns that they're trying to move away from?
I would say that the changes start slowly,
Mhm.
Gloria, that it's not an overnight. And for some, it could be a month. Ooh, I don't even want to do that anymore.
Right, right.
But by that time, in a month's time, let's say after 4 or 5 sessions,
Mhm.
you are really a bit more in tune to you.
Mhm.
You are a bit more clear on, I have answers to questions that I never was asked that question before in my life.
Right.
What are you pretending not to know?
Mm,
What is it costing you?
that's deep. Yeah.
And so when they're able to say, "Ooh, they're really like, I just don't want this anymore, and I'm willing to work
Mm,
hard to get." So you're willing to dig down, and it's messy, it's
yeah.
dirty. You're not
Ooh,
gonna like me sometimes. You might not, and
mhm.
it's okay.
Right,
But I'm gonna
right.
leave you a choice. I'm gonna leave a client a choice. But yeah, it could take 6 months, a year. It just depends on to the degree how bad do you want it?
Right, right. And I love one of our viewers just said, it's the willingness to change to have better. Thank you, Miss Bates.
Yes,
You know,
Renee.
you
Yes.
just said the right words, because that's literally what it is about. But we're talking about someone who has been trained in this particular genre, that they know what they're talking about, and they're going to ask you those questions. It's going to make you pull back those layers, and it ain't going to always be pretty. Well, for me, it was never pretty, but
No, I've
mhm,
had therapy. I have a coach
mm,
now. And so see, I'm not going to take for me for transformational coaching. I'm not going to pretend to do something that has never been done to me or that
right,
I have not experienced. So
right.
I know what the results look like on the other side. If you're
Mm.
willing to just go there.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Of course, Miss Carolyn says real change is messy, and she's here for it.
Okay, Carolyn, I love it.
I mean, she's on point today. I was like, okay, all right, that sounds good. But let's talk about this side effects.
Okay.
Are there any side effects or issues that someone seeing you might experience as a result of neurotransformational coaching?
No, I don't do any type of hypnosis, and I do know others that are into hypnosis and they are trained and they have disclaimers and all those lovely things. But no, there isn't anything that is going to necessarily, you're going to cry likely. You're going to be upset, maybe. You might show some resistance and anger in the process, but you will likely want to this you'll want to continue because you're going to say, wow, once the session was over, I'm still thinking about it and I'm still applying it to other areas of my life. So if someone comes to me and I ask them, I have a set of questions that will still be like an intake that, if you're on medication, that this is still a confidential setting, all of those things. Even though I'm not a mandated reporter, I still would give them resources. And there is like emergency numbers I would take. So I would call their emergency contact, even if they don't want it, because ethically, to me, I'm liable. So legally, I would not. But yeah, there should not be any side effects, if you will.
Right, right.
If anything, you're going to try and do some of these tactics or techniques on your family. And I say, don't do it. Don't do it.
Right,
Your
right,
family's not going to enjoy you. They're not going to like that. They'll
right.
just see, oh, you're a little bit more mellow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're actually hearing me. You're not over talking me. You're listening to me
Right.
because I'm listening to them. Someone's actually listening to them. And so they're going to want to give that gift to their
Yeah.
family.
So when I think about transformational coaching, it involves, as we said, helping clients to overcome, deep-seated beliefs, doubts,
Yes.
all of those things.
Mhm.
And so when we talk about your strategies for facilitating,
Okay.
the personal transformation in the context of
Okay.
education and psychology, and side note, there will be some side effects, but there'll be good side effects. If you know what I mean.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Because if you are really into, as Miss Carolyn said, if you're willing, no, or Miss Bates said, if you're willing to do the work, then what will happen is you are going to see something different. I have gone to therapy off and on for a long time, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to become a professional life coach,
Mhm.
because a lot of things centered around. But as you said, when people start pulling out, they done went down the trunk and they start pulling out, some bloomers and doing some of them other things. You like, I need to refer you. I need
Exactly.
to
I'm not
understand that
we're not a
difference.
right fit. Yes, we're
Right.
not a proper fit. Yeah.
Right. So, so when I think about your strategies for facilitating, if someone called up, and some of y'all, I see all of y'all on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So, someone call you and they want to follow up with you with a session. I don't
Okay.
know how you determine if you want to work with that person or not. I guess what I'm getting to is what's your process for deciding I want to work with this particular client versus, not
We're
work with
not a
this
fit.
particular client.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I have a Calendly link that, if I can, Gloria, I'll post it. If not, we won't worry about it. But if you want to reach me, I have a Calendly link on my socials. So we have what we call a connection call. And that's where I just ask you, what are you looking for? And then I just listen to what you want to say. We talk about what the program fees or the costs. There's sometimes that I have a sliding scale, just like therapists have a few slots that are sliding scale. I believe in his supporting the community as well, but at the same token, I know when people are not willing to pay for things, they're not deeply invested in it. They don't see the same value, and so I'm just looking to see, are you really ready to do the work, and what kind of changes are you looking for? This isn't magical.
Right. Right.
This is work. Uh, what is your belief system? You don't have to be Christian. I happen to be Christian, but you can be whatever I allow you to be whoever you are, whoever you
Right.
want. And I want to know just what your mindset is. What's your lifestyle like?
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
are you doing? Or what are you have you had therapy before? Have you had counseling? Have you had a coach before? What are you looking for in a coach? And then I
Mhm.
would tell them what services I provide and the results based on what they're telling me. It's like, so
Mhm.
what do you want at the end of this?
Right.
What are you
Right.
looking for? Because my goal is to get you to the results. Yeah, we
Yes.
have a process, but
Yes.
bottom line, I want to support you from moving from here to there. And
Mhm.
a lot of
Mhm.
times that after the connection call, we'll start with wherever you want to start.
Right. Right.
It's group coaching or individual.
Right. I like that, because that's one of the things that I like to do. And even you and I had a call, so that we can talk, because I think personality is important. What
Yes.
the goals are, that's important. And I know for me as a life coach, that's one of the things that's really important to me, because it has to fit. I need to know. And I appreciate you saying that, what are you looking for? What are you expecting? What are your needs?
Mhm.
And that really helps a real coach and someone who's just not looking for money, a paycheck, but really helps them to identify, hey, I can work with this person or not. And also, on top of that, it gives me something to go back to when we have that first session, because if you see that it's changing, I can go back to those notes and say, well, when we first spoke, these are the things and areas that you identified that you wanted
Exactly.
help, help in. So for anybody out there that's saying I'm a coach, because I'm gonna tell you, lately it seems like every time I turn around, everybody's saying a coach, and a coach needs a coach, and I'm like, but I'm a certified, life coach, and
Exactly.
you definitely
Exactly. I'm
feel that.
certified. I'm
Mhm.
in two certifications at the same time. I'm with Lisa Nichols and Sean Smith. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm just about to graduate from Lisa Nichols, certified transformational trainer. And so if I have her name attached to mine, then I
Right.
have to be what she is expecting.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I totally, totally respect that. So, I love that. I love it. And thank you. And so, as a transformational coach, it not only involves helping clients overcome deep seated beliefs and habits,
Mhm.
but when we talk about, you're also educating them. You're, you got a mind shift that's going on, and a lot of times when I think, and I could be wrong, but in my opinion, sometimes being a resilience and transformational coach, it may require a longer term commitment. So,
Yes.
how do you measure and track progress over time? You want to ensure that the transformational changes are sustainable and that it's just not a short term fix.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
it's about a decision for a client. What are you doing differently, for one? What are you doing differently? How do you see yourself differently? How are you measuring progress? We're going to define what is success to you. What would that look like? So we would have concrete steps to see what would that look like, something tangible. And then there are a lot of intangible things that they may not see right off the bat, but I might notice that. That I'll notice their body language has changed. I'll notice they're looking at me directly. I'll notice they're grooming themselves in a certain type of way. I'll notice that they're presenting. I'll watch the language that they speak, because in the beginning it's often disempowering language. And so we want to know, have we reframed that language to empower us? So that is huge right there. If you were
Yeah,
speaking poorly
absolutely.
of yourself, those measures are going to be present, and they're going to show up how you show up with other people. Other people in your life are going to notice,
Mm,
and they're going to be able to say, "Hey, Lorena, my husband said this," or my daughter said this, my son said this, my coworkers did this, my team, the way we engaged, we resolved conflicts so well.
right.
And so there will be some obvious and tangible things, as well as some intangible things that
Yeah,
will
I,
go.
I agree with you. Oh, absolutely. So, but I know for myself, when I first started out as a coach, I just took on a lot,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that I needed to have time to breathe. And we now know that as self care, and couldn't understand why I was feeling so out of sorts in everything. And as a coach, as a life coach, as a transformational coach, I don't know when people really understand. I just don't just take it on. Um, I take that person on, and I really want to see them thrive, not just
Yes.
survive. I want to see them thrive. So,
Yeah.
my question to you, knowing that coaching is emotionally demanding, how do you practice self care and actually maintain your balance and sense of well being while you're still supporting, I guess you say, the growth and transformation of your
Yes.
clients? That's
What
that's a
I
long
do,
question, but
sure, that I got you. I understood you
okay.
from the gate, Gloria.
All
Uh,
right.
what I do is daily. I do daily self-love acts for myself. I put myself at the front of the line in my home. Uh, I take care of my two daughters that have chronic illnesses. At times, a lot of times they're able to do for themselves, but sometimes when they can't, I support them. I take care of my 91-year-old mom when she's not able to care for herself. So we have family meetings. We have a calendar. I take trips. I just came back from Cancun. Uh, I walk most days. Do my own little check in. When my energy is low, oh, I need to get up and physically get myself going. For example, this morning, I was feeling a little bit better from my cold, and I just realized, oh, I want to keep this energy going. I went outside and did what I call grounding. I do that in the morning. Morning practice helps. I literally take off my shoes and get on the grass and just walk and talk to God and give thanks. And I write in a journal in the morning. I say affirmations to myself. I speak to myself on what I'd like to do or ask how I'm going to be used today in the service of others. But in the meantime, I go for a run. I go for a walk. I talk to friends. I have a coach. I take good care of myself. I treat myself to things that I'd like to do. I say no. I say no unapologetically.
I was waiting for that big word.
I
And
say no. No, thank you. No. I know what I want. I say no to things that I don't want to do. And that is so,
it's very cathartic.
yes, yes.
So you just say,
And it took a while because it helps professions in education and psychology. Those are all helps professions. They're bloodsuckers, if you will. But you have to take, not the people, but the institution, the mindset of a woman. We are conditioned culturally, socially to support everyone, to just give everything. And so I think it's so important. I took mental health days. I don't need to be sick with a runny nose or sick with a broken foot. Oh, I'm taking a mental health day. I'm taking a day just to chill. Maybe I'll take myself out on a date. Maybe I'll take a drive. Maybe I'll go to the beach. Maybe I'll just relax. Maybe I'll just sit somewhere and be quiet.
Important. All of those things that you talk about are really important. And there are some of you who are watching that really don't know what it's like. You can't sit still because you think you need to have a girlfriend or your boyfriend or your guy friend or,
I used to be like that.
Yeah. And so, it's just nice to be able to go to dinner and they say a table for two, a table for one, and to sit and people watch or just do things and know what it feels like to just do you, because that's doing you without all of the other stuff, ruminating around in your head. So I really appreciate hearing you, say that. Now, we're going to take a quick break because Miss Carolyn has a lot of, I call them isms. And
Okay.
so when we come back, I'm going to share some of her isms. And I see she got, my brother over in Africa, he's like, whoa, this is something. So it's eye-opening, but we're going to come back. And when we come back, I want you to just talk about what are, in your opinion, what are some of the necessary skills that a person who wants to go into the field that you're in, what should they have? I mean, just some, some
Sure.
key skills. And we'll share some of Miss Carolyn's comments for sure. But guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for your comments. Thank you, for your revelations. I really and truly appreciate it. You
Yes.
are tuned into the Gloria Bailey Ray Show with my awesome guest, Miss Lorena Belcher. We're going to take a really quick break and we'll be right back. So guys, don't go anywhere.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
All right. I want to thank you guys for hanging in here. I have my awesome guest, Miss Lorena Belcher, who is a resilience and transformational coach. And she has been, in my opinion, unpacking things that you guys need to know. If you're dealing with situations, and a lot of us really and truly do, whether you want to admit it or not, but here's what my guest is talking about, why we need to examine where we are in life. Yeah, we're getting too old to still be tripping about stuff. But I once, this friend of mine used to say, if you are 40, 50 years old and you're still talking about the fact that your mother gave your baby brother 3 more cookies than she gave you, and you still dealing with it, you need some help, right?
Yeah.
And so here's when we think about a resilience and transformational coach, it's about changing our trajectory. You could be on that everything is negative, everything is bad, ain't nobody. But sometimes, y'all, they always say that if you're pointing a finger at somebody, you got four pink fingers pointing back at you. So, did it ever occur to you that it could be you that really has the problem? And I have just been excited about hearing what Miss Lorena has to say as relates to resilience and transformational coaching. Before we went to break, one of the things I said I was going to share with her, so I'm going to try to do it in sequence. Miss Carolyn has just uh, been on this role. And so I'll start with this one and let's just go with it. She said the real change is messy and she's here for it. But then she goes on to say it's about uprooting and extraction.
Come on, Carolyn. Come on, Carolyn.
Then she says, you're going to inspire some, you're going to trigger others, but both are medicine.
Girl, this is powerful. I'm going to have to take some of these quotes, Carolyn. I'm going to have to give you credit when I post. Okay.
Yeah,
You will inspire
okay.
some and trigger others.
Yeah. And then
Both are medicine.
look, yes, saying no. Look, she's like, no. And then Miss Warner came back and said, at Carolyn, yes, definitely. So look, and then of course, thank you, Miss Carolyn. I knew she says, has our laziness, outpacing our fruitfulness.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Wow.
just it.
Because we get complacent and then we're complaining. But you do the same thing, you're going to get the same thing. You got to do something different. We have to think differently. We have to feel differently.
Yeah.
And there is a heart connection. And I don't mean, just your mind. Your heart saying too. Have you connected?
Right. Right. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. It's not going to happen. So change comes within each and every one of us. That's for sure. So when we went to break, I posed the question to you. In your opinion, what are some of the necessary skills that a person who desires to go into this field should have? And by the way, y'all, Sister Lorena, she is deep. Y'all see, I keep putting up. She got her MA. She's doing all of these things. So, but just from your perspective, Lorena,
in my opinion, Gloria, be open to the change that you are wanting to help others. Just be certain that you're not using that as a way of distracting from dealing with your own stuff. Also, try not to pontificate that you have all the answers, because we do not. Be willing to learn things that might be different from how you were raised. Be open to holding the space for your client when it is messy. Be willing to do the work on yourself. And there's some programs, whether they're academic or not, that require you to actually get counseling and therapy. Mine did, my master's program did, but there are some that do not. There are certification programs. Be mindful, do your research. Know your why when you're coming into this.
Right.
Your why and do your research. 6 weeks, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to help anybody with a 6-week certification. That's just, I don't know, you might be putting a Band-Aid over a gunshot wound, but that's not going to last very long. Yeah. Be open, be willing to be okay with all different types of people. Be
Yeah.
be willing to learn yourself and your own resistance or triggers or what they would call transference or counter transference with a client.
Right.
Keep your boundaries and just go for it. If that's what you want to do, go for it.
Hmm. But put in the work.
Oh, you're going
You
to
know,
have to put in the
you got
work
to put in the work.
emotionally and academically because many times as women, we keep looking for that next degree to validate ourselves, the next certification. Oh, I was like, oh, should I get the PhD? And then it was like, my daughter said, Ma, who has a PhD? She was like, Mom, do you really need it? And then I was
Right.
like, well, maybe I don't. She was like, take a breath. And, so she reminds me. So I have to ask myself, why?
Hmm.
If I
Hmm.
do go for the PhD next year, which I'll be 65 going for a PhD, but I said, I got time. But know your why. Know your why.
There you go. I love it. I love it. So there's somebody, I just believe this, that's watching this, and they're considering seeking help.
Okay.
What advice would you give to them?
Don't wait. Don't wait. Maybe you literally have to wait till tomorrow because offices are closed. But put yourself at the front of the line. Your children will be better. Your children see you healing, then they heal. I mean, that's how I got to work with women who are dealing with their own sexual trauma. My daughter experienced sexual abuse. So, I mean, there's so many layers of all of that, but we have to put ourselves at the front of the line. So as my daughter sees me heal, she'll see that there's hope for her. But you've got to go out there and find it. It may not be the first connection, may not be the first one you like.
Right.
Maybe it isn't the first fit. But don't quit. Oh, I didn't like them. Well, then go find somebody else.
Hmm.
Because you're
Yeah.
worth the time and investment. Go
Yes.
for it.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I love
I
that.
am here to rescue myself. And so when we understand that, I am
Yeah.
my own rescue. I tell people I didn't stretch up on the cross for anybody.
Right. Right.
I have to help. I have to take responsibility. You mentioned that earlier, take
Mhm.
ownership and responsibility because in all the things that were going wrong in my life and anybody else's, I'm the common denominator. So I had to sit
Hello.
myself down. I had to sit myself down and say, now what's really happening here? What are you looking for? Why are you involving yourself with situations like this? What's up with your deserve level? So it's not them, it's me. And so
Right.
I needed to take a look at myself.
Mhm.
I'm in the position now where I am ready to date Gloria. And I laugh and I said, I'm cool taking it real easy and slow. I'm
Yes. Yeah.
able to discern at this point. I trust myself. And so
Mm.
people with trust issues, most of the time is you don't trust yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
when you know what you want and know what you're looking for, it just it reveals it is present. And you
Yeah.
can not villainize anyone. I don't villainize my ex-husband. I don't villainize my parents. I let go. And forgiveness is
Right.
huge. Forgive
Because
yourself
parents can only give you what they have been given. That
completely.
that people have to understand that whether they talk about it or not, there's only so much. And so understanding that and forgiveness is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It is.
I just think when you forgive, you just keep moving. Miss Wanda, I love that. She says, be curious. Miss Carolyn wants us all to know to thank God for us helping them to curate their emotional and mental real estate. Girl, look, I gotta call you for some of them for some of
I'm
those.
curious. You need to start writing, Miss Carolyn. If you haven't, now
Right,
that's what my advice to you. And I don't tell folks, but today you're popping. You have
right,
some
yeah.
powerful
Yeah,
words.
she's on point, and that's why I say I really appreciate those of you that are there. Miss Downs, thank you. I figured out that Miss Lorena is a gem. So,
Thank you,
yeah,
Vanessa. Couldn't be.
yeah,
Yeah, that's my girl. That's my
yeah.
girl.
So, and that, that's what it's all about. But as we round down, one last question. What is it that you want people who watch the show today? What do you want them to take away from today's show?
Wow. Put on your own oxygen mask and love yourself as is, every cell just the way it is. And if you don't like it, you get to change it.
Wow. Put on your own oxygen mask. Okay. Got it. Note to self. That's awesome. Miss Lorena, again, I want to thank you for being here. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you, Gloria, and thank you, everyone. It's my privilege.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be right back with you. I want to say to all of you guys, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging in here. I hope and pray that every one of you will take something away from the Gloria Bailey Ray Show. We are here because we want to reach those of you that are not into the mainstream. It's about providing you with information that's going to help you be informed and to make informed decisions. Again, I want to thank my guest, Ms. Lorena Belcher, for being here. And I hope that you found the information that she shared to be informational, inspirational, and definitely educational. So you just have to tune in. I want to invite all of you guys to watch the Gloria Bailey Reed show. Add it to your list of shows and set a reminder to tune in from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Tuesday for the show. If you miss a part of it, or if you just want to go back and watch the entire show, you can go to my YouTube channel, Gloria Bailey Ray, and, pick up and look at the show and tell somebody else. If you're looking for some inspiration, spiritual inspiration, I want to encourage you to join me on Real Talk with Lady G every Thursday. It's a half hour, 30 minutes. I am on Spreaker.com, and you'll find my podcast also loaded up on YouTube. Just need to tell you guys, I really and truly do appreciate all of you. I love you. I love your support. I love you, and thank you for tuning in. Be sure and follow me on all of my social media, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. On Instagram, I am known as the authentic_coach. If you're in a space and you'd like to become a sponsor, it's not too late. Go to my website, Gloria Bailey Ray, and reach out. Or if you just want to make a donation, feel free to connect with me. Until this time next week, I want you guys to have an absolutely wonderful week. Give thanks for all of your blessings. Stay safe. Remember to always pay it forward, always. Because I say this, the quality of your life is determined by the decisions that you make. It's been a blast. And as I always say, if you didn't take anything away from today's show, then it's really you who didn't get the memo. I'm Gloria Bailey Ray, your host. Peace and blessings.